Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help. And King of Floors, your vinyl, laminate, and engineered flooring superstore.
It is Wednesday, and all of our Wednesday guests are sponsored by the O's marketing team at Royal LePage, the go-to source for all your Central Vancouver Island real estate needs. Find out more at wearerealestate.com. Just before we get to our one of our Wednesday guests, Jeff Paterson, let's update the White Spot poll question. A great game deserves a great meal. Order takeout online at whitespot.ca and enjoy the great taste of White Spot to go. Should also remind people, is it just me coming up? You can text us 604-200-9494. 9494. All right, poll question.
Will the Canucks play all 19 of the remaining games? 41% say yes, they will. 58% say no. We've got over 1,200 votes already. And people are just not confident. Like, this is a quick turnaround for the Canucks. I don't know why the National Hockey League is making them do this, Donnie. It's a quick turnaround. These guys are not 100% healthy, and Friday is approaching really, really fast.
Yeah,
really fast.
It's about numbers, too. How many players are going to be ready to go on Friday or moving forward as the schedule goes on? Injuries, all of that, long haul COVID. So much to talk about, and here to talk about that some more is Canucks reporter Jeff Paterson. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm delighted to be on with you guys, but I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed because the grand plan, at least in my mind, was I was going to be at the rink today. I was going to be bringing you the very latest about who was on the ice for this first practice in a couple of weeks, and then we found out late last evening that things had been pushed back by a day and that the facility is still closed to the media at least, and that apparently some players will be skating on their own in small groups, but they're going to get one practice. If all goes well, they'll have one practice tomorrow and then have to play not just Friday. And by the way, Friday is a 6 o'clock start. Saturday is 4 p.m. Yikes. So, it's just up against it at every single turn for the Vancouver Canucks here that they're going to come back. And I heard you guys talking in the previous segment. You don't think that Louis Eriksson and Guillaume Brisebois are going to be up to the challenge of matching up against McDavid and Draisaitl?
Sotner, Rafferty, Lind.
It'll be close.
Yeah.
Jeff, what do you? Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I just the question is what kind of lineup are they going to ice? Who's going to be in goal? Now, some players may come off the COVID list here in the next 48 hours, and they may be ready to go. But as we sit here right now, and we haven't seen today's COVID list, both Braden Holtby and Thatcher Demko were on yesterday's list, so they're still in the protocol. Mikey DiPietro, Artur Silovs. Is it possible that? You think of Mike DiPietro's NHL debut when he got thrown in on short notice against San Jose, and it didn't go well. He also made an appearance in Vegas after Jacob Markstrom got the hook. But Artur Silovs has been nowhere close to an NHL game, and yet here are the Canucks back-to-back Friday and Saturday, McDavid and Draisaitl Friday, Matthews and Marner on Saturday, and we just don't know. And that's why practice is going to be important, and I know we're talking about practice here, but just to do a roll call to see who's available to Travis Green and the Vancouver Canucks a day before they're supposed to play their return to game action on Friday night.
We'll ask you our White Spot poll question. Will the Canucks play all 19 of their remaining games, Jeff?
I think they will, somehow, some way. What they're going to look like, how we're supposed to regard these games, what do we in the media look for, what do the fans take away from these games, who starts and who's able to finish them. Because it's not just the players, guys, and we're still at a point here on Wednesday ahead of a Friday game where we don't know the conditions of these players. JT Miller is going to meet the media later today. That'll be interesting because he is a teller of truths and won't hold back, I don't imagine, just on what the team's been through, but also on what's ahead for this hockey club. But remember, too, that these guys are human beings, and I know you've talked about it. They're husbands and they're fathers. It's my understanding that there are some wives and significant others that have really been impacted by COVID here, and it's not just the players. So if you're a player and you're leaving for the rink on Friday, and this is great, you're getting back, you're doing what you love to do, but you're playing, and who knows where you are as far as the headspace is concerned if you're leaving a wife or kids behind at home that are really, really ill with this virus. So it's not just the players. We look at them as hockey players, but come on, they're human beings first and foremost. And if we haven't sort of made that distinction here over the last couple of weeks, then I think we're all missing the plot.
Jeff, Elias Patterson, boy, it's been 6 weeks. When he first got hurt, the general feeling from everybody was he's going to only miss 1, 2, 3 games. And here we are in week 6. He's going to see a specialist today. I mean, we believe it's the wrist. There's only 19 games left. If you have to see a specialist after 6 weeks and you only got 19 games left, why not just shut this guy down for the year?
Yeah, and you're right, Rick. The minute the word specialist pops up, that gets your attention. That these guys get the best medical attention possible. But if he's requiring the approval of a specialist, then I'm guessing this isn't the first time that he's seen this specialist. That he's probably been dealing with him on an ongoing basis here. You're right. Just a lot of gray area, and that's been the case this year with the Zooms and the fact that nobody's around the team and in the locker rooms. Usually, you can observe the number of times over the years that we've seen a player scoot across the hall in a walking boot or something. But you just don't know where these players are. We were told that Patterson was skating on his own ahead of this COVID break, and that seemed like a step in the right direction. That he was trying to get his cardio back up and keep his legs in game shape, but. That wrist is his moneymaker. We know that, the way that he shoots the puck. And so there has to be some real concern. And it's not like you owe it to the fans who have shelled out big bucks and are coming to the rink to see a show. There's nobody in the building. So, there's no sense in rushing him back or putting him in any kind of harm's way. And I would think that he and his camp would know that too, going into the summer and knowing what's to come as far as the contract is concerned and everything else. So whether we see Elias Patterson the rest of the way, I don't know, but it's hard to come up with a reason why it would make sense to get him back in the lineup. And I think the organization showed trade deadline, moving Adam Gaudette out and Jordy Ben, that they read the writing on the wall here, that it's just not going to happen for them, whether they use injuries or COVID or both, as their explanation for why it got off the rails on them this season. I think that was an indication that they know that they're not going to be a playoff team. And so if you don't have Elias Patterson the rest of the way, it's an opportunity to look at some other players. And I think that, for me, is what the rest of the season is about here. And I do hope, and I know that Travis Green is coaching to win. That's the way he's wired, and he's coaching for a contract, whether it's here or somewhere else. But I do hope that the organization can take a step back and realize now is the time to get some of these younger players into the lineup to see what they can do, whether it's Cole Lind, whether it's Matthew Highmore when he's out of quarantine, or Madison Bowie. Let's see what he's able to do on his fourth NHL team now. And I don't need to see Antoine Roussel in the lineup every night. I don't need to see Jay Beagle if he's healthy and available. I don't need to see Alex Edler play every single one of these 19 games if they play them. There's 6 back-to-backs. They talk about a time for load management. Sit Alex Edler down and let somebody else get in there and get an opportunity. So I am really curious to see how the coaching staff approaches what's left of this season, especially given the challenges that the schedule is going to present.
All right, Jeff, before we let you go, do you understand, this is the first time we've had you on since Monday, do you understand what Jim Benning was up to on Monday, and what's your theory as to why they let go of Adam Gaudette?
Yeah, I wasn't surprised. I think the writing was on the wall going back to the bubble last year where he couldn't get into the lineup, and when he did, he didn't have much of an impact, and when they shortened the bench in close games, he was usually one of the guys that saw his ice time curtailed, and then to come back and get off to the start that he did and lose his position as a center and move to the wing. And I know that the underlying numbers say that he has played better and probably should have been more productive, but at some point, you can't point to that. You've got to be able to capitalize and cash in, and expected goals are great, but you know what's better? Real goals, ones that show up on the scoreboard. And so there wasn't much of a bottom line for Adam Gaudette. Clearly he was frustrated. He wanted to play more, but remember in the offseason when they sent him video about penalty killing, and that was supposed to be a way that he could increase his role and his value to the hockey club, and that never happened. And I think part of it was face-offs have always been a challenge for him. Not the biggest guy. We heard about the issues with putting on weight and keeping it on, and I think that's part of the struggles for him in the face-off circle was just brute force, and he just didn't have it, and he got worked over by bigger, stronger players on the other side. And so if you're going to be a penalty killer, you got to be able to win draws and get the puck and get it down the ice and those types of things. And so, I think there were a number of factors, whether COVID was the last straw, and the organization didn't like the way that he and his wife went about their business. I've heard that floated. I can't confirm that, but it just kind of felt like a number of things added to this being the point in time. He wasn't the long-term answer to being their third-line center. I think that was evident, and so he moves on, and we'll see what Matthew Highmore can do. Highmore feels to me like more of Jimmy Vesey and Travis Boyd and Jace Howerluck, and they've got all these guys at low price points, and that's great. I like that part of it. But can any of them play? And more than that, can they contribute to helping this hockey club win games? And that much we don't know, but that goes back to my point of let's find out. 19 games to go here, compressed schedule. Give some of these guys a look, and let's see what they're all about if you're trying to determine whether they can be part of the future and what the Canucks are building here.
Jeff, thanks for this. We'll talk to you on Friday.
I'm already looking forward to it.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Jeff Paterson, he'll join us Friday. A preview of the Canucks return to action.